Lorraine Rita Moran was born on January 31st, 1927, in Bridgeport, Connecticut. From a young age, Lorraine was different. She was incredibly sensitive. The young girl often felt like she didn't quite fit in. Lorraine attended a Catholic school. It was a strict environment, but it provided structure. Lorraine's childhood wasn't easy. Her family lived on the grounds of a Catholic school. This meant Lorraine was surrounded by other children, but she always felt different. She was withdrawn. The other kids sensed this difference and often left her out of their games. Lorraine found solace in nature. She loved to spend time outdoors, surrounded by the peace and quiet of the natural world. The trees and the animals seemed to understand her in a way that other people didn't. She would often wander the school grounds, lost in her own thoughts. Lorraine's differences weren't always easy to live with. Her sensitivity made her an easy target for bullies. They sensed her vulnerability and exploited it. The bullying made Lorraine's school years difficult, but it also strengthened her resolve. She learned to rely on herself, to trust her instincts. This would prove to be an invaluable lesson in the years to come. It was during her early teens that Lorraine began to understand the true nature of her sensitivity. She started experiencing things she couldn't explain. Strange occurrences followed her. One minute she might see fleeting figures out of the corner of her eye. The next, she might hear voices whispering her name when no one was around. At first, Lorraine tried to ignore these strange occurrences. She dismissed them as tricks of her imagination. But as the experiences intensified, she could no longer deny that something unusual was happening. She confided in her mother, who was a devout Catholic. Her mother's reaction was unexpected. Instead of dismissing Lorraine's experiences as childish fantasies, she listened with an open mind and a compassionate heart. She told Lorraine that her family had a history of sensitivity to the spiritual world. Some might call it a gift, others a curse. Armed with this new understanding, Lorraine began to embrace her unique abilities. She realized that her sensitivity wasn't something to fear, but rather a gift that could be used to help others. She started to pay closer attention to her visions and feelings, trying to understand their meaning and purpose. Lorraine's ability to see and sense the unseen grew stronger over time. She discovered she was clairvoyant and clairsentient. This meant she could receive information beyond the five senses. Sometimes these insights came to her as vivid visions. Other times they manifested as strong feelings or a knowing deep within her soul. Lorraine could see spirits, both benevolent and malevolent. She could sense the energy of a room, feeling the lingering emotions of those who had been there before. She could even touch an object and receive flashes of its history, like a psychic archaeologist piecing together fragments of the past. These experiences were often overwhelming for Lorraine. She learned to control her abilities, to shield herself from the constant barrage of spiritual energy. It was like learning to swim in a vast unseen ocean, navigating currents of energy and emotion. Lorraine used her abilities to help others. People would seek her out, drawn to her reputation as a kind and compassionate soul who could communicate with the other side. She offered comfort to those grieving lost loved ones, providing messages of love and reassurance from beyond the veil. Section 4. A partnership forged in destiny meeting Ed Warren. At 16, Lorraine met a young man named Ed Warren at the Colonial Theatre in Bridgeport, where they both worked. Ed was immediately drawn to Lorraine's quiet strength and her kind heart. He too had experienced unexplained phenomena in his youth. He had seen the ghost of a former tenant in his childhood home. Ed was captivated by Lorraine's stories of her experiences. He believed her without a doubt. He saw in her a kindred spirit, someone who understood the reality of the unseen world. Their shared interest in the paranormal blossomed into a deep and abiding love. In 1945, when Ed returned from World War II, he and Lorraine were married. Their shared passion for art and history only deepened their bond. Ed, a talented artist, began painting portraits of the spirits Lorraine encountered. This marked the beginning of their journey into the world of paranormal investigation. Ed's logical and skeptical mind complemented Lorraine's intuitive and compassionate nature. He approached their investigations with a detective's eye, while Lorraine provided the spiritual insight that allowed them to understand the entities they encountered. Together, they formed a formidable team, dedicated to uncovering the truth behind the world's most compelling paranormal mysteries. Section 5, The Warrens, a legacy in paranormal investigation. Ed and Lorraine Warren founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952. This organization became a cornerstone in their paranormal investigations. They traveled across the United States and the world, investigating thousands of cases of hauntings, demonic possessions, and other unexplained phenomena. The Warrens' investigations often brought them face to face with terrifying entities. They investigated cases like the Amityville Horror, the Enfield Poltergeist, and the haunting of the Snedeker family. Their work challenged skeptics and captivated the public's imagination. Ed and Lorraine's work wasn't without its critics. Some questioned the validity of their findings, suggesting that they exaggerated or even fabricated evidence. Despite the criticism, the Warrens remained dedicated to their work. They believed in the importance of shedding light on the hidden world of the paranormal, even if it meant facing skepticism and ridicule. Their cases, often adapted into books and movies, became part of popular culture. The Warrens' work helped to bring the discussion of the paranormal from the fringes to the mainstream. They lectured extensively, sharing their experiences and insights with audiences around the world. Section 6. Lorraine's Final Bow, A Life Remembered. Lorraine continued to investigate and lecture well into her 80s. Ed Warren passed away in 2006, leaving a void in Lorraine's life and in the paranormal community. Despite her loss, Lorraine remained a beacon of light for those seeking answers in the darkness. She continued to offer guidance and support to those experiencing paranormal activity. Lorraine Warren passed away peacefully in her sleep on April 18, 2019, at the age of 92. Her passing marked the end of an era in paranormal investigation. She left behind a legacy of compassion, courage, and an unwavering belief in the unseen world. Lorraine's life was a testament to the power of the human spirit to confront the unknown. She never wavered in her belief in the paranormal, even when faced with skepticism and doubt. Her story continues to inspire both believers and skeptics alike, reminding us that there is much we don't understand about the world around us.